bank made the decision to move to Canary Wharf in 2000. At that point we were in a number of buildings dispersed across London, and one of the aims was to bring everybody and consolidate everyone into a single location. It was a really big decision to move out of the city. Barclays had been in the city at 54 Lombard Street for 300 years, so moving away from its home for that long was a really emotional decision.
I think the driving force behind the move to Canary Wharf was the chief executive at the time, Matt Barrett. And one of the things that he identified very quickly was that the head office building really wasn't working. It wasn't a good environment to work in. It wasn't a good environment to entertain clients in.
It was quite an old and tired building, although it hadn't been up for very long. So the floors would creak as you were walking around. The decor was mostly beige and brown. It was a bit smelly, it was a bit damp.
There wasn't as much space, there was less air and less open environment. And there were a lot of desks in a very small area.
Matt Barrett decided very quickly that the bank needed a new head office, and he could see that Canary Wharf was the place to be, that other people had already moved out there, that being able to move out to Canary Wharf gave you a lot more freedom in the size of building that you could construct.
We first found out about moving to 1 Churchill Place through an internal comms announcement, and I think that was met with both sides of kind of excitement, enjoyment, you know, brand new building, purpose built here in 1 Churchill Place, you know, very excited about that. At the same time, you know, a bit of belonging and sentiment to the environment in Lombard Street where we used to be. So it was kind of mixed feelings.
Or when we heard about it, I thought, oh no, what we're going to do? There'll be no Marks and Spencers over the road.
Yeah, and then of course 2 days later, 9/11 in New York happened, so everybody was very anxious then. But then Barclays issued a statement saying that they were going to alter all the business plans and make the building secure.
We wanted to make this the first building in the world that would be designed to safeguard against such an event. So the building was substantially redesigned. It went from a 50-storey building to a 31-storey building, and we increased the size of the core so that we could evacuate.
In the event of something happening in Canary Wharf, but not necessarily to this building, that we'd have the capacity to safely contain our staff within the stairwells. So interestingly enough, stairwells aren't just used for evacuation, they're also a place where we evacuate people for safety.
It was a really smooth transition from what I remember. You put everything into your crates on the Friday when you left Lombard Street, packed it all up, and ta-da, when you arrived on Monday morning, it was all here waiting for you. So I don't remember there being any glitches at all. It was great.
1CP signified the start of a new era for Barclays. And you know, that was around, you know, better communications, around less formal hierarchy, around greater transparency. So to me, it was the start of a new generation.
It was quite quiet for a while, but gradually people started to come in slowly. It was the space, I think, and the different way of working.
You know, I did notice people sort of changing their behaviours actually. It took a few months, but we did notice people sort of dressing differently as a reaction to their environment.
From the moment people walked into the building, there was a palpable increase in energy, in pride in the organisation, and people loved the environment.
I think the design of the building is great in the way that it draws people together and creates lots of opportunities for people to connect and collaborate. And the way that the flows work within the building, the connectedness, that's what it's about for me.
It just gives everybody confidence and pride that they're working in a significant, well-developed tower at the heart of London's business district.
And it's fair to say we should change for the needs of the business moving forward.
The building has a 30-year lease. We're 10 years into that 30 years, so we have a further 20 years of occupancy here. And Canary Wharf continues to expand. The next phase of that development is called Wood Wharf. Crossrail is opening fairly soon, so it continues to expand and become more vibrant.
I think the future's really exciting for Canary Wharf and 1 Churchill Place.
You know, you see in the development around Crossrail what that will do to London in its totality, and then also Canary Wharf as part of that will be amazing, I think.
We've come here and we've seen the district grow. I think it's part of London's story, and I think it's very, very exciting what's going to happen here too.